Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Zyder here, and today I'm going to be showing you some Battlefield 4 gameplay playing Rush on Rogue Transmission. Now, the main thing about this gameplay is that I do pretty damn good with this PKP. I mean, I am taking names and slaughtering mofos left, right and centre, and this guy, I don't know, out of 100 mags it took me 25 to kill somebody. Not bad, but definitely not great. So, today's purpose of the video is, I'll talk about the gameplay later, and I've just got a face full of lead off an M98P. But I suppose I'm going to have a quick brush over about where my channel's going just recently, and I suppose I better start here with I've just completed Bloodborne, and I didn't get the ending. I've had a look on the internet, and I've had a look at people sort of, I've got my own idea about the game anyway, but I've got a rough idea about the story. Seems cool, whatever, but you know, it's very Lovecraft, very Cthulhu-esque. But I'll definitely be playing again, so you will be seeing more videos of me on a new playthrough playing that. I'm going to go for an even heavier strength build now with Kirk Hammer and Cannon. That'll be hilarious. And the other game, I just received Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, and I don't know. It's good, but quickly cutting back to the commentary. No one's taking this MCOM. Nobody. My MCOM. But anyway, I think I'll talk about the issues I have with Scholar of the First Sin and the things it does right. I mean, I'm not going to lie about it. I think it's a great game. But it has a few issues. But I'm still going to be bringing you footage of me playing. I'll do some boss fight talk throughs, because I still know that anyone who's coming to Dark Souls 2, if you've not played the original, the vanilla Dark Souls, some of these boss fights are going to be a little bit obscene to deal with. So I'm going to be talking you through some of them. And there'll be some gameplay videos on that later on this week. Or possibly later this in a couple of weeks. Because I don't know yet about what I'm necessarily going to be doing. So that's basically it. And obviously the game you see now will be the other game I'm playing, which is Battlefield 4, something that I've pretty much fell back in love with again. I was going to get Hardline, but I've had a look at it and I've sort of read the reviews, and it's too much of a bare bones experience for me to put money down on it. Because at the moment, Hardline is kind of like vanilla. It's very... If you ask me, there's not enough in Hardline to warrant its full price. It should have been sold, and I'm quoting Total Biscuit here, it should have been sold as a standalone. A game which was basically a piece of DLC. It had a couple of multiplayer maps, some good interesting guns, some good mechanics, and a stunted multiplayer progression system, and it would have been great. I'd have chipped into that, because with a theme like Cops and Robbers, so much I could have done with it. Big fan of Payday 2, and when that comes out in June, I will be nailing the hell out of that game, but yeah, it's a bit bare bones. Like, I bought Battlefield 4 with everything, with premium, with all the DLCs. I bought that in the January sales, I think it was the January sales, and I only paid around £25 for that, and obviously your regional equivalent. For Battlefield 4 premium and all its DLC, that was a steal, but then I could have gone and bought Hardline for 50, and I got less content, less enjoyment. But anyway, so I suppose I better glaze over the gameplay a little bit here. I'm using the PKP, not my preferred setup. Generally, with any sort of light machine gun, I run with stubby, muzzle brake or compensator, and obviously the red dot of choice, which on the PKP would be the Cobra. And yeah, this is quite a bod basic gameplay. I do really well. I think, if I remember rightly, I think I finish about either 28 or 38 to 8, which, although it's not a kill-based objective, it's pretty good. I didn't die over much, but I suppose the thing is here, I am really heavily playing the objective, and I'm using the PKP's rational damage to sort of, I can wedge in against players that are using slower weaponry, which, although the PKP does have a slow rate of fire, it doesn't make it, it's not its biggest penalty, and that guy was either dead or I just can't hit anything. But yeah, there's not really much I can sort of glaze over in this gameplay. I think this is very standard Rush sort of gameplay. You know, I mostly play infantry because I like vehicles, but I just don't like the fact that you just become RPG fodder. It's like, you know, you jump into a BTR, you jump into an IFV, even if they get into a T90 or an Abrams, you're just going to be, you just become rocket launcher fodder. And that therefore means you have to play sort of conservatively with the tank, but that's wasting a tank's usefulness, where it's more useful to be an aggressive sort of item in battle. But anyway, so for the next couple of videos for the rest of this week, I've got a few plans. Obviously this week I didn't quite know what I was going to put out, so I fell back onto Battlefield 4. Everybody will want to see this, because Battlefield 4 is still Battlefield 4, still awesome. But basically I'm tied between Scholar of the First Sin for Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne. Having completed Bloodborne, I now know sort of areas where I'm going to want to record, because some boss fights, such as Murgo's Wet Nurse, and that terrible clipping, I think people are going to want help with. Now, quickly going to a subject within Bloodborne, the memory leak which is occurring within PS4 basically means if you play Bloodborne for more than 3 or 4 hours at a pop, bosses don't actually extend through stages, which is really sort of bad, because I've seen videos of some people fight like the Promethean Descendant in the Chalice dungeon, and they never even split the sickle, they just stay single-handed with it. It's easy to parry, but whatever. So, yeah. And then obviously Scholar of the First Sin, I'll be doing gameplay videos on that, and I'll actually be talking about why I'm a little bit disappointed about it. Mostly enthusiastic. I like the game, I think it's great, and it's a very good looking game on PS4, running at 1080p, 60 frames per second. It is smooth as butter, looks damn good. But there's kind of an issue in there that I'm a little bit disappointed with, which I think FromSoft and Namco Bandai, they could have really taken more of an intelligent stance towards it, rather than the one they've taken at the moment. But other than that, those will be my sort of genre for a while, and if any sort of interesting indie games come out, I might do 15 minutes of those. Like, I've been playing a lot of Rogue Legacy just recently, I really do like that game. But it's not really worth recording over, because there's not much you can really talk about it, unless you want to give sort of like a bare bones rundown of the game, which is just an indie game in general. So yeah, I think what happens now is I'm probably going to sound off, because in these videos it's pretty much impossible to do a full-length commentary, because all you're watching me do is shoot dudes in the face and throw ammo packs at people. People ain't going to want that. So, as you see here, I'm just pushing up towards A flag. This was a really good flank. Like, I really pushed hard up his left wing, because normally I wait for the BTR to come up down the middle, and I'll just follow him behind that, because most people are focused on getting out of that way, so that means that infantry can get up pretty unhindered. But as you can see here, I take an unusually wide stance around the initial base, coming up to these two guys here. Oh, I think one guy, I don't even murder the other. Oh, I do. And this basically wins us the game. I wouldn't go as far to say that it was my victory by myself, but with them two down, and those were the only people watching A, it means that I could get straight into A, arm it, and hold it down. As you can see, I was making sure I had C4. Because although it's a bit of a newbie tactic, if you're really desperate to keep hold of an objective, there's a cat meowing in my house. Shut up! There we are. If you really need to keep hold of an objective, that's one of the ways of doing it. Just plaster C4 everywhere. But yeah, I suppose as this video comes to an end in about 2 or 3 minutes now, as per usual, guys, I want you to like and subscribe. Obviously, I've not got a huge audience, but again, this is only a hobby. I'm not expecting anything more out of it. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you like, tell me if you want to see anything. If there's any boss fights on a Bloodborne or Dark Souls you want me to video, then I will try and get them if I'm close enough, or if I've gone past them, then I'll have to sort of probably glaze over techniques in the how many times have I said that word today? Probably too many. But I'll talk about techniques over the comment section. And other than that, for the last minute or so, I'll let you guys enjoy the commentary. The video, my apologies, it's too early in the morning to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, Zyder9 is out.
I've armed the charge with objective Bravo.